Hi, this is Sam Antonio, special correspondent with Liberty News Network, and I am here with Andy Ramirez, who is the president and founder of Friends of the Border Patrol. You mentioned a very important topic or a term, that was corruption. We know about the corruption of the Mexican government. We know what's going on their side of the border. But talk about, quickly, what's happening here on our side of the border, in particular with our government officials, with our government operations that's supposed to be defending the border. What exactly is going on in there? And you testified extensively about that. You have a lot of documentation about that. But share very quickly what exactly is going on within our Department of Homeland Security that's put together to protect our borders, but it seems like they're not.
Well, if you look at the structure of the United States Department of Homeland Security, it comes down to several things. The intent of the department was very simple, to bring all the communications together of so many different agencies. But the problem is the very thing that allows it to be successful in the wrong hands could be used to our detriment. Now, look, for instance, at the Christmas Day attempted terrorist attack aboard the Northwest Airlines jetliner. To this day, nobody's head has rolled. That is unprecedented, but that has gone on for quite some time now, both through the Obama and previously the Bush administration, George W. Now, what we see today is all of these things taking place. When we talk corruption, we're talking about, for instance, where agents who are whistleblowers suddenly have a prosecution taking place on them and at the insistence of a foreign government, say Mexico, Red China, and other nations that I've personally documented. When you go to these trials, they're absolute circuses where you have the consul general, you have officials of these foreign governments, and they have brought in individuals whose sole purpose is to agitate, carry signs, and harm that U.S. law enforcement officer's life.
Now, both of us are from Southern California. We know about what's been going on, the war, and our southern borders, along with America, but we kind of forget that we do have a northern border with our friendly friends from the north, the Canadians, but there is a problem with our northern border. You have a lot of experience in testifying before the House and information you showed me about what's going on there. Enlighten our audience about what exactly is going on with our unguarded border with Canada.
When we're talking the Canadian border, we have several things that we have to realize. Number one, just because it's cold. In fact, this is actually kind of a funny thing. I was meeting with a Border Patrol chief several years ago, and I asked him a simple question. Well, considering how Mexico is and the traffic that comes across, the ebb and flow that takes place across the southwest border, what is it like on the northern border? Surely, given the ice and the snow conditions of, say, a Minnesota, a Montana, an Idaho, the Dakotas, you can't get the same type of traffic flow. And the chief looked at me and said, no. You get exactly the same type of traffic flow. You don't get the numbers, but ice and snow doesn't stop them. The Great Lakes doesn't stop them. They still come across in their numbers, and we have no way to know what is exactly coming across. When you look at Alaska, you've got 1,000 miles of border with Canada right then and there. You have their proximity to, naturally Russia, former Soviet Union. You have Japan not too far down from there. You have the Koreas. You have so much taking place that's coming through Asia that anything can happen from that point. You know, Mexico, in fact, this is a story from a Border Patrol chief. What they do is some individuals will fly to Canada on a 30-day work visa and then walk across the U.S.-Canadian border. So it's the same thing taking place, and not many people are aware of this. So when we're looking at Canada, we have always had inferior number of agents. In fact, I'll use an old number. This is 2006 numbers. If you have 1,000 agents, which is what we had on the northern border at the time, now you break up that into 3 shifts, plus an additional number of manpower that is elsewhere, be it vacation, if they're a female agent, could be on maternity leave, could be detailed to Washington, could be doing anything, sick leave for a day. So if you have the other 750 agents, that doesn't mean that they're all on duty at the same time watching the border, because some of them are command agents. Some of them are shuffling paper back and forth, transporting illegal aliens, doing a number of things. So ultimately, we can literally have an area, say Buffalo, where we actually did have a well-acknowledged potential terrorist incident that took place. In fact, a number of incidents that have taken place that haven't hit the public. Now, what did we have in response to that? At one station, the manpower was 30% below what it should have been. In San Diego, our home area, which we know, you have an issue where we once had 2,500 agents. Now it's no longer even near that. On paper, we're talking less than 40% of that number. This happened in 3 years' time. So when we're looking at border security, it's not just numbers, it's will. But it's also willful attempt to not do anything. You have reservations up there that agents don't have access to. So we have a lot of problems taking place all across the nation, but Canada has been left wide open. But then that also brings into another aspect our territories overseas.